um, in the parenting series of instilling values in kids. Today is class number 2. We'll get started with a meditation commentary and then into the class. So please join me in this guided meditation. Let's sit comfortably and relax. The mind and the body. And let's take few deep breaths to loosen up the body. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. I, the Master, Almighty Authority, at this moment has authoritatively chosen to get some rest. I have worked hard and I deserve a true break from everything. Everything. So one by one, I order my mind to release everything because it's time for the Master to go inwards and experience deep silence, lightness, joy. So, my dear mind, take me on a journey within. There's a lot of noise still. So through my mind, I travel far away to a beautiful place where the sun is setting and is spreading red light amidst the evening darkness everywhere. It's as if the sky and the earth have united. The reflection on the lake is a double image. How clean is this lake that it can show everything clearly. Why do I find it hard to remember, to understand, or make a decision? Why is there no clarity, cleanliness like this lake? What has caused the inside to become full of ripples where I can't see myself, others, life, nor can I see my future? I, the beautiful soul, is an exact replica of my eternal parent, the divine, who's the wisest of all, who's the ocean of knowledge. Then as a child, I should also have full clarity. The light of sun removes the darkness from this world, but it is just at the physical level. But the light of God, the light of His truth, of His knowledge, is the only healing ointment, the only light that will remove the darkness of ignorance, of confusion, of doubts from within me. So I invite my parent, the spiritual sun, to cleanse me and give me the clarity, the impurities of desires, the impurity of greed, anger, ego, lust, causes me, the soul, to become muddied, and then I can't see anything. God is the only one that is a spiritual cleanser. His vibrations are pure. And as I sit in front of Him as a child, as a equal to Him, with an authority that I have rights to His property of purity, my trust, my authority enables the magic to begin. confusion from within vanishing. Thank you, ocean of knowledge, God, the spiritual cleanser, for purifying me, for accepting me, and giving me a beautiful life. Welcome, everyone, once again to Instilling Values in Kids. We are on day 2 or class 2, and we talked last week about how values are so essential and what is the significance of values in all our lives and in our kids' life too. And we'll just do a quick revision and then start talking about how we can instill honesty in kids. It's a wonderful value, a very essential value, especially in today's age where there are a lot of lies and falsehood. How do you instill something so beautiful and majestical in our kids' life? We'll start off with a discuss this. So I'll go ahead with this knowledge sharing, and then in the end, for last 10 to 15 minutes, we will have the Q&A. So first is just a quick revision that we talked about last week, which is to really how are the values formed, because this is a critical step. I think it's very important to understand. Many times we think of kids as our own property, that they should be just like us or our partner or the grandparents and so on. That's all is our limited thinking. So it's very important to understand that there are multiple sources for our kids to have their values. And indeed, parents as caretakers play a huge role, and that's where the upbringing comes into picture. And then there is also the environmental, which is could be schools, friends, variety of different places this child is going to. That also has an influence on the kind of values they will pick. Then there is past life. In previous life, the soul, what kind of values had it imbibed? We might be all about cleanliness in our house. It's a huge thing. Whereas this soul has come from a place where cleanliness was the last priority. And for them, it is very easy and natural to be clumsy, to be disorganized. And if that is constantly bothering me as a parent, then I have not understood completely. Doesn't mean I give up and don't instill a good value of cleanliness, but it gives the parents a lot of clarity and understanding rather than being frustrated. My property, you're in my house, everybody, each one of us is clean. How come you are not? So, spiritual knowledge really is like a nectar. It really cools down our inner discomfort. We have a lot of questions otherwise. Why my child? How come not like me or not like our family members? We need to understand the complete truth of us and others. And then one of the biggest things that has helped me, and yes, I do forget, that is why meditation and daily spiritual knowledge is my fundamental support system for me to keep sane and add lot of value to my family. So innate qualities. Every soul, when they started their journey, had only beautiful. They were perfect, accurate. So this motivates me to never give up on my kid, no matter what kind of value they might not have. For example, if they don't have courage as a value, and instead they have a weakness called being timid, I will not give up, because I know the natural, the innate, the original state of every soul is courage, strength, power. So, as a parent, if I have unlimited view of the spiritual knowledge, life becomes very easy as a parent. Otherwise, when we are living in our own cocoon of the limited world, I, the parent, my child, my property should be like me, should agree to me, should do everything that I say, then life is very difficult as a parent. And last but not the least, based on all of these factors, the child also, based on their determination, their willpower, they will adopt some values as they grow up as an adult and even at a later stage. So this is what we had talked about in the last class, and we talked about few other things, but I will just kind of wanted to revise this because I feel this is building blocks in order to instill values. So, to start off with, let's try to understand what honesty is before we even think about instilling it in our kids. I think in the very broad sense, majority of us do understand what honesty means. But in the simple terms, if we have to explain it, it is basically inside out same. And someone that is very, very honest is literally like this transparent lake. You can see everything. There is no mud of any kind of trickery or cleverness or anything like that. Their inside conscience is so clean. They are so transparent that you can see on their face everything. They have nothing to hide. So, when my inside is what? Inside is our thoughts, our feelings, our attitude, our perception, which others cannot always read very accurately, because a lot of us have also become really all those politically right people. So inside might be all muddied, but outside we will be smiling, showing as if we are in agreement, but actually we are not. So that is a form of dishonesty too. But when I am speaking the words that I mean, so outside I'm saying, oh wow, yes, I love your class. I will send my kids every day to your class. I think this is a fantastic thing. And inside I'm thinking, oh my gosh, never. Or inside I'm thinking, I have no time for this class. I don't think I can do it. But outside I'm saying, yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then later come up with some other excuse. So, this is also a form of dishonesty, where inside I'm thinking something and outside I'm saying something else. There's even more uglier form of dishonesty, which also occurs where we are thinking something, I will say something, and I will actually do the third thing. So, thinking was something else, speaking was something, and then doing is something completely different from what we thought and what we said. So much of dishonesty does exist in this world. And for me, in this last few years, yes, I've been trying to become inside and out clean as much as possible, but I still catch myself being dishonest many times. And yes, it does not bother me always, as long as I'm awake as a soul and I course correct that. Okay, all right, oh my gosh, dishonesty in so many different places, change. Now, honesty, many times people also say it as like, I'm straightforward, I'm frank. So inside, I was not liking what you were doing. So right there, honestly, I told you that what you're doing is bad. I hate it. I don't like it. Why would you do it like this? So just saying whatever is inside, I'm honest, I'm straightforward, I'm frank. So many people use honesty in that way as well, where they will say a lot of rude and really disturbing things to people and say, at least I have, I'm honest. I tell what I'm thinking. Others also might be thinking that, they don't tell you. That's all is the difference. So anything, honesty would really, the true honesty, if I'm completely honest, I would never say anything to others that will hurt them. Now one would say, well, I'm thinking it. And then you're saying honesty means inside out same. So my inside is filled with dirt. So outside also I'm saying dirt. This is honesty. But there is a deeper honesty. Honesty first starts being honest with the self. And what is the honest with the self? It is really understanding the self and acting as per the self's religion, self's identity. So, if I understand who I am and who I belong to, what is my religion, then honesty means first I'm honest, I'm completely aligned with my identity, and then I speak up. So, first honesty really is that I accept myself. Right now, I have strengths and weaknesses. And I also have the strength to accept all the weaknesses, because I know one more truth that enables me to even accept my weaknesses. Many times, people who are very frank and straightforward will tell on people's face that, hey, this is your problem, this is not good about you. But they fail to acknowledge what are the things that are not good about them. Honesty means not just telling and others what they are. Honesty first means be honest with yourself. Do you know yourself fully? So once you learn the art to look within and catch your strengths and weaknesses and accept all of them, still be in love with yourself, then you will never ever want to call out other people's weaknesses, because you realize that I am not clean either. The second point here is that my eternal true identity is really that of a pure point of light, is who I am. And I'm the child of the most loveliest being, God, right here. So when I stabilize myself in my true identity, which is I am pure, peaceful, loving, wise, joyful, when I stabilize in my true identity, I realize that whatever weaknesses I have is a really temporary state. That's not my eternal state. So, true honesty really means aligning with my own truth. And a person who aligns with their own truth will also see the truth in every being. They will understand their true eternal identity, true. And that is why they will never use words in the name of honesty that will hurt others. So when there is something disturbing I am noticing about others, I have to, doesn't mean I start lying and say things that I don't mean. But it does not mean that whatever is inside, I just bring it out because I know it will hurt others. So here, honesty sometimes could also mean that I don't speak up and that I clean myself up before. That if I am this pure divine being, then others are too. And now, with that kind of understanding, for their own good, I might say few things, but the way I say it will be completely different. It is no more criticism, it's no more pointing fingers, but it's a simple matter of care. This particular thing that you have in you is damaging for you. So, out of care, I'm letting you know that this part of your personality should change. So, true significance of honesty is inside out same. That is, my thoughts, feelings, words, and actions are all aligned. And in addition to that, I should be aligned to my eternal identity. So, our eternal religion is purity, peace, and love. If I have to be honest and I have to move away from my religion, that means I'm not being honest to myself. Then what is the point of speaking some honest words about others? First thing is, be honest to your own self. Then it's one of the things that motivates us to instill any particular value is when we understand what is the profit and what is the loss. We are very business-like people, and it's good actually to always check what will I get if I instill a particular value. So I think a lot of these are self-explanatory, but just to kind of go over them so that it becomes a little bit more clearer. Automatically, we know a person who is honest, we can easily trust them, right? Versus a person whose words have generally not been true, you won't trust them. And especially if you've had more than one or two experiences where they say something but actually mean something, you will find it very hard to trust them. But a person who's honest will not only be able to trust themselves, but will also win many people's trust. So many times we doubt our own abilities. We don't trust ourselves to do certain things. Why? It's because we know that we are not completely honest, and we lose our own trust by being dishonest. A person who is very, very honest will progress in life very quickly. They will not have any kind of hurdles. They will actually get cooperation from all, including the universe. So, someone who is honest, honesty pretty much comes from purity, which is like completely positive, elevated thinking. It's only purity that kind of generates honesty. When you have no kind of ulterior motives, when there is no falsehood, there's only cleanliness. That's where honesty projects itself. And when you are so clean and out of that you're being very honest, it's like literally such clean energy. It attracts lot of cooperation from all souls and even Mother Nature. And they say, Sache Dil Pe Sahib Razi in Hindi, which basically means Lord is also pleased by an honest heart, authentic heart, or a truthful heart. So, what else can be bigger than receiving God's love? So, you come very, very close to this most powerful spiritual energy, the highest spiritual energy, God, when you become honest. And it does lead to a lot of security, because whenever you are saying a lie, there is lot of thoughts, oh my gosh, it shouldn't get caught, so we're constantly trying to cover up. We have to defend ourselves a lot when we are lying. So it causes a lot of fear in us, fear of getting caught. And because a person who is not honest will have to constantly think of all the strategies to defend themselves. So the number of thoughts that they create are very, very heavy, because they're constantly thinking, how else should I save myself? If somebody comes and says this, what should I say? So they're covering up, patching up all the lies that they have created in their life. It causes them to feel very, very insecure, unstable, and lot of worries about what if I get caught, what if my lies are found by others. So person on the other hand who is very, very honest will find everything to be tension free. There is no worries or of getting caught. They are inside out clean. So they feel very, very light. And such a soul will feel lot of contentment. On the contrast, there is a lot of loss from dishonesty. Indeed, like we said, if wherever there is falsehood, falsehood means immediately it will be followed by fearfulness. This is an immediate consequence of being dishonest, and it leads to a lot of confusion. Because one lie will cause hundreds of thoughts in our minds, and that lie could be as simple as inside I'm feeling something and outside I'm saying completely different. It's a dishonesty, and that disturbs the soul, because the natural quality of the soul is just like God. It is truth, it is authentic, it is honest. And when we move against our natural state of being truthful, we are very, very disturbed. That energy is not good within us. And in the longest journey of life in this world drama, we've had many lives. How many times we might have lied or not said the complete truth? So there is a lot of disturbance in us as a result of dishonesty. So when we understand all the importance and the strengths of being honest, I think that's what inspires us to become honest, and also inspire us to instill this value in our kids. So it might be, I think this is, I would highly encourage all of you to kind of start the self reflection exercise as we are going through this class, because I think it really helps as to practice now versus later, where we forget most of the things. So ask yourself, if ever your kid has lied, what causes them? What causes them to be dishonest? And some parents are very, very upset that when their kids do lie. So it, in general, I think we all know this, that the kids lie because in the past, when their lies were caused, when they were caught, they lost parents' love. The parent either withdrew, did not talk for almost a week, or said a lot of things. So they remember from the past what happened when their lies were caught or when their dishonesty was caught. And then it could also be anything else where they were not dishonest, they were completely honest. They told you everything, but then whatever they said was not a very beautiful thing. It was either they messed up somewhere or they did something wrong, and they came and honestly shared with you. And instead of really appreciating their courage to be so honest and transparent, we as parents got upset. We withdrew our love. We didn't talk with them for some time. And they felt like we don't even respect them anymore for whatever they did. They've fallen in our eyes. And now they also feel that we are not trusting them anymore. So when what they have to lose is so high, right? Losing parents' love, losing the self-respect, losing trust from the parent, then this causes a child to be very fearful. And that is why they start lying. Another thing could also be that why are they dishonest? Because they feel if they are honest, they will be punished. They will not be understood. They will be judged. They will not be listened to completely. And as a result, the child decides it's better to hide than go through that whole big drama. Last but not the least, it's also important to acknowledge, like we just started this class with, that dishonesty could be instilled. from past life. It's possible that this child who's now come to my home, to my life, has been practicing dishonesty for the longest time. Could be multiple births, could be during the upbringing or through the influences of the environment. So there are multiple sources through which the child might have caught um, the weakness of being dishonest. So it's good to be aware of what is causing the child to be dishonest. Now, this particular thing where we say that it could be during upbringing. So many parents I have seen, at least for smallest and the silliest things, they will lie. They will not be honest. And for kids, it's literally gray and white. There is no like black and white. They don't have any gray zone where they say, okay, this much you can be dishonest versus this you should never be dishonest. They don't have it anything like that. Their lens says either black, dishonest, or white, honest. But the parents switch around between honesty and dishonesty throughout their upbringing. And that causes the child to not get clearly a clear signal from the parent on what is the value that they should adopt. So for silly things like they're feeding the child something and they're saying, no, no, it doesn't have that vegetable that they don't like, but actually it does. And they force the child to eat it, like hiding it in between another food bite or something, and making them eat and saying, no, 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 that vegetable is not there. And the child who's eating it, who doesn't like that vegetable, understands it. But they feel that, okay, parents, like, they, if as long as you hide and lie, it is okay. So that's the message that got instilled to the kid. They see the parents left and right lie to their friends or to their parents, or to, in fact, use even their kids. It's like somebody has called and they will tell the kid, hey, tell them that they're sleeping. The parents are sleeping. Or tell them that the parents are doing something busy. So now the kids are asked to lie on behalf of the parent, but then when the kid actually lies to the parents get very, very upset. My child, have I taught you this? Quite possible we didn't. But spirituality teaches us to always go within and check, because one major block of a kid instilling values is coming from the upbringing. And we might, say all kinds of stories and give them lectures about how honesty and being truthful is so critical. But if our actions are opposite of that, they will not, those words will have no impact. Time and again, I have seen, especially with family, action speaks way louder than the words. Our words will lose all its essence if we are actually lying and telling the kids to not lie. Now, there is a very nice story which relays this message. There was a mother um, who had a child about 10 years old, and she wanted a lot of, she didn't like some of the habits that the child had. And she was trying to get rid of those habits from the child, but the child would not really listen to her. And they used to visit a saint that the child really, really liked. And mother would find it very strange that how come this child never says no to go and visit this saint. And whatever the saint would tell this child, the child would agree and comply, always do whatever the saint said. So the mother started taking a lot of advantage. Whatever thing she wanted to change in the child, she would go and tell this saint, hey, can you tell? Because he listens to you, but doesn't listen to me. So one day the mother goes and tells the saint that, hey, this my child eats too many sweets. It's so harmful for him. Can you tell him not to eat so many desserts? Can you ask him to cut down? And The saint says, okay, okay, I will, but you come and ask me about this for after a month. I will say it after a month. And she says, why? It's like, no, 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 I can't do it now. You come after a month, and then I will tell this child that don't eat the sweets. And the mother is little, you know, finds it very strange, but she says, okay, whatever, the saint has helped so much so far. After a month, I will go and ask the saint again. So she goes after a month again with her child and tells the saint secretively that, hey, today please talk to the child and tell him not to have desserts. So the saint then talks to the child and tells that, hey, you know what, sweets are not very good for you. You should cut down, maybe have it once a week or whatever. So the saint has a nice chat with the child, and then the child agrees that, okay, I will not eat so much, I will cut down. And the mother is again amazed that, oh my gosh, again this child listened to the saint. What is it about this saint? So she goes and asks the saint, hey, what are you doing? Why does the child always listen to you? And why did you take a month to talk to my son? And then the saint says that, hey, you know what? Even I had this weakness. I was also eating a lot of sweets. So if I am eating sweets and I'm telling telling the child to not, my words will have no impact on the child. So I had to practice for a month to not be attracted or pulled by sweets, to cut it down. So when he was able to win over his weakness of being pulled by desserts, he could also tell the child and pull him out of the attraction towards the dessert. So look at how powerful. If we are not honest inside, and if we are trying to, um, you know, teach or instill the value of honesty, it does not work. The easiest way for child to really learn any kind of value, the easiest way is watch it in action in their parents' life. Every little action is telling them how to instill what values. If they see their parents always being honest, not using a single time to either request the child to lie or they themselves lie, then it becomes very, very easy for them to imbibe this value. And when we want to instill honesty in kids, I think we've been talking about this in quite a few classes. Without love, we cannot really teach anything to our kids. So if our method, every time we catch them lying, or even sometimes multiple times lying, if our tone of education is filled with lot of ego of putting the child down for being dishonest, then we are not really instilling any kind of value in the child. All they are registering is, if my lies get caught, I am in trouble. The parent gets angry, and then there is lot of discomfort. So whenever the parent is around, I should make sure and try to be honest, try to not do those things, because the moment they catch me, they will be upset. So when we are trying to talk to, suppose our child has lied, or we found them to not tell us the complete truth, before we even go and have a conversation, we should check, am I peaceful inside or am I disturbed? If I'm disturbed, most likely because I think I, the mother, my child should be perfect, my child should be like me. So again, thinking about the child as the personal property who should be like the mother wants the child to be, that will cause disturbance. So when we stabilize ourselves and bring that bigger picture, that values are not just instilled from a parent, they come from various different places, then it enables us to accept the current state of the child. And also, second step that generates mercy is, have I always been honest my entire life. In fact, adults tend to lie a lot more than the kids. People pleaser personality, where inside we don't have any genuine feelings, but we say all kinds of praises. It is dishonesty. At least kids are silly in their innocence. They will, say such big, big lies that can easily be caught. It is innocent lie, I would still say. Versus adults is a very calculative lie. Lot more serious dishonesty. So instead of really this getting very upset, we need to sit with ourselves, bring up the bigger picture of how values get instilled, that the child is not my personal property. I am just an instrument that has been given the beautiful responsibility of bringing up this child for this birth, and then acknowledging that yes, this is a skill that even it took me time to learn and I am still learning, my child can learn too. So bringing up that innate quality list, that every soul is truth, just like the Father, the eternal parent. This enables us to maintain faith that my child will one day be honest. They can adopt truth as a value. It enables a lot of patience in us, which then enables us to work with them. Otherwise, we give up after some time, saying they will never get it. Today's generation, always dishonest and so on. Then it becomes very, very difficult. And then, last but not the least, we have a conversation with the child, right? What happened? What caused them to not tell us the full truth? It will most likely be one of the fears, or just the simple that from their past experience that parent will never understand. So what's the point of even telling? They will simply get mad, they will yell, or they will withdraw, or they will force me to do something else. That's why I chose not to tell them the full truth, or I chose to lie. So, when we completely understand the root cause, instead of lecturing the child that you should not be honest, or sorry, you should not be dishonest, we will start working on that root cause. So, the root cause could be me getting upset at the child, me not being friendly enough that they can open up to me, or me not having enough time with the child to completely understand what is going on in their life. So the root cause could very well be just me as a parent. So I need to fix my own self, not really the child. If I change, the kid will not have any reason to lie. Suppose if I am the root cause. So when we are having this communication to understand what caused the child to lie, the intent is not to really literally give them lecture, immediately find out, okay, this, now I need to give you a lecture, that you should never be dishonest. The intent is a deep concern that honesty is such a wonderful quality that will make my child's future secured, full of stability, will get them cooperation. Remember all the positive things we talked about. And I want my child to get this. This is why I'm having this communication. Want to leave you all with some really beautiful quotes from Brahma Kumaris on honesty, and then we can open up this session for Q&A. When there is honesty in my heart, others can trust me and I can trust myself. This is a huge thing. Trust is not a small thing at all. This is one of the things I will tell my kids in many different ways. Sometimes when I found my child, this was quite younger, when they were younger. And when we were having, not at that particular moment when the lies were caught or anything, but at a later stage, I had to just tell them like a friend, it becomes very hard. That for me, everything you say, I will start doubting, and that energy is not at all nice. So we should really do everything to preserve that trust between each other. That I shouldn't have to think if you're saying something, do you really mean it or you're doing something else? And trust is a huge thing in relationships. So I was trying to sit with my child and explain to them that, see, anything you say, I will start doubting. Doesn't it become very difficult? I'd rather that you come and tell me everything openly and transparently. This is one of the first things we talked about. Real honesty doesn't mean I just speak whatever is inside as is, right? First, honesty starts with real honesty means being true to the best that is within you. And this is why spirituality, understanding who you really are and being true to the best of my eternal identity. So it doesn't mean just speaking your mind. Last but not the least, let your words and action be so pure and truthful that it reminds others about their true nature of honesty and purity. This again, many times I have seen in different ways when you are connected to your eternal truth, whether it is purity, whether it is honesty, whether it is your mercy, whatever value you are practicing and you are stuck on to it, it really activates this soul's innate quality in others too. So the other might have the weakness of getting angry. They've lost to some extent their value of being peaceful or loving at that moment. But when you stick on to that, it activates their natural design too. With that, pretty much we are coming to the end of this session. Want to now see, open it up to questions. You could type it on the chat or the Q&A, or also you could unmute yourself and speak up. Any questions on honesty or values? Okay, there is one on the Q&A. This is some game that they're playing and they try to impress. So I think this is attention seeking kind of thing, right? Where they're wanting your attention, wanting your love. Maybe they're feeling that they're not getting enough. Then again, this is like me kind of making a very quick conclusion on what you're saying. Could be multiple things, but one of the things where they're trying to do this, it's a clear cut indication that they want to see that pure pride for the child in your eyes. So they feel if they show you, they impress you with how good they've become in a particular game, then maybe your eyes lit up, and that's why they try to do that. So maybe you should think about that. Is that really the case, or is there something else?
Yeah, that I think makes sense. Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. I have to like many times tell my child, when they're doing good and I'll say something good. Oh wow, you really love me. You really think you're very impressed. You're really this. I'll say no, irrespective of this, I'm always impressed by you. I always think you have a lot of potential. I always think you are beautiful, right? So I have to always keep adding this because sometimes when we show them this sudden praise or sudden admiration, they feel that they have to work too hard to impress us, right? And sometimes when even after working hard they're not getting it, then they'll start twisting things to impress us. So I will try to remind them that, hey, you don't need to work hard to impress me, but yes, you should certainly make your own life beautiful in many different ways, but don't need to impress me. I'm already impressed.
Om Shanti, sister.
Om Shanti.
I had a question. So basically, like what I've seen, like at least one of the things that I experienced is like the kids basically like once you tell them you have to be honest and they try and then what happens is that like suppose they're making the same mistake again and again, so they'll say the honest thing and then their expectation becomes like, okay, now I've been honest, so you should not punish me for the mistake that I'm doing, right? So it happens. So just wondering if you had any suggestions around that. I mean, so like how to let them know that yes, honesty is one thing, but the other mistake that you're making is also not the right thing to do. So.
Yeah, yeah. Just like while you were talking, like just impromptu, there is something that just popped up in my mind. But again, this is something where we have to constantly be creative as a parent on, because kids are so inquisitive and they come up with a lot of different ideas in their mind, and it's important as a parent to address it. So one of the things, I mean, here again, randomly throwing it out, there could be many different ways to do it. But you could, for example, we could say that, hey, because you are honest, your punishment is only this much. And it is really not a punishment because, see, I'm still very, very, respectful towards you. And I'm really proud that you had the courage to admit it, that you didn't lie. But the mistake is there, so that's why this is the punishment. Had you also lied, this would have been the disciplinary action for it, right? So that's another way to kind of come out of it, that indeed, for whatever mistake they have made, the other beautiful thing is that this enables me to trust you, right? That at least I know that you will not be saying things which are not true. So this is again not at that moment when it is all happening, but at a later stage, to acknowledge that you appreciated them being truthful, that enabled you to keep maintaining that trust in them. So these are some things that I do add, um, as whenever there is this relaxed time, whenever we are just having a quiet time, there are these small, small things that I will leave as messages to them.
Okay. Yeah. As I do tell them this thing when the situation is happening, and then I see a dilemma in their eyes. It's like, I am not sure whether I should continue to be honest or not. But I think maybe the quiet time, I think I need to try that one out and see if it helps. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. I think looks like we don't have any other questions. We can maybe practice meditation for a minute. I am a pure being of light, an embodiment of truth, child of the truth, God Himself. Dishonesty is like wearing many masks on the face, where not only I, but nobody can recognize me or trust me. It causes a lot of insecurity in me, because I've moved away from my natural state of truth. It makes me work hard to be someone that I am not. So I remove all the masks of dishonesty and I look at myself the way God looks at me. I am a pure being, divine, full of peace, love, and joy. I am inside out, clean and beautiful. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Hope you have a wonderful week ahead. We'll see you again next week.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you, sister. Om Shanti, sister. Thank you.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, sister. Thank you.
Thank you.